because one of the things we get into, we talk about in the when I talk about braking and throttle, our speed is the primary influence over our line, right? So what I'll show and demonstrate in the book and whatnot is that, think about when you turn into your driveway, right? What speed do you turn into your driveway at? Probably about 10 miles an hour, because it's a 90-degree turn. Now, if you try to turn into your driveway at 40 miles an hour, not even the best motorcyclist on the planet could turn into your driveway at 40 miles an hour. It's not possible. So the thing we have to wrap our brains around, even if we're riding in the most twistiest environment that there is, the tail of the dragon, Mulholland Drive, whatever it is, we still must slow the motorcycle to make tight turns. And that's something that is pretty obvious to people, but they forget that. They want to take the corner that's 30 miles an hour at 60. Now, maybe, the sign says warnings 30 miles an hour ahead. We know that, motorcycles can probably breeze through there a lot easier. But the point I'm trying to make is a legitimate, turn that, will be appropriate at 30 miles an hour. You can't take it at 60. And so we want to control our speed with our brake and throttle into those environments. Now, then I move on. We talk about a lot of the general things you would imagine people would talk about in the cornering course. We talk about lines. We talk about what let's see here. The lines. We basically go into lines, cornering. I mean, I had a little bit on smoothness, but again, the smoothness chapter and the vision chapters are in there because they need to be in there for it to be a comprehensive program. But being smooth, having vision, those things are all good. I have a couple of good things there. Once we get into line selection, I talk a little bit differently about the line. And one of my, I guess, points of pride is that I focus on what are called the real world or ideal lines and ideal perfect world scenario, and then the real world lines, because most programs are going to say, okay, look, you're going to do a late apex all the time. Okay, you're going to do, this is it, outside, inside, outside, or this is the line you're going to take. You're always going to do this, period. And it's good to plan your line. And I talk about how to plan your line. I try to simplify how to plan your line, but I also focus in the book on how to change your line in a curve. So changing your line in a curve, there could be two reasons why you might want to do this. First of all, for positioning benefits. I'm going into a left-hander, my head's hanging over the double yellow, cars could be coming the other way. I don't like this lane position. I'm going to change my line mid-corner to get me away from the center line. Think about your basic course you took, or just basic riding. We have the left, middle, right portion of our lane, and we're going to pick the one that gives us the best situation. The same can be said for in a turn. Okay, just because you're in a curve, it doesn't mean you don't have choices on where to place your motorcycle while you're in the curve. So when I talk about that, we first talk about it for positioning benefits and techniques, how to make that lane change safely while leaned over. So that's in there. And then of course the last chapter, it says, well, look, you got cornering hazards here. Now there's something in your lane, you have to get out of the way. I mean, think about this, right? Like if you go into a turn and there's something in the road, that's not the time to assess your ability to change your lane positioning in a curve. Okay, because that's where you panic. That's where you maybe hit the thing when you could have avoided it. And so I find that the feedback from students in my coaching tours and in the track classes and all the years I've been doing this, they find basically they're just light swerves that you would do while leaned. You could practice them in sweepers so that there's really no risk. But they said, I never knew you could do that. I never thought of doing that. You know, most experts will tell you, or if you were to, let's say, go to the coffee shop and talk to your friends and say, hey, I had to change my line. Did you follow me? Yeah. Did you see me change my line? It would be a negative thing. They would say, you must not be good. You had to change your line. What's wrong with you? You don't know how to figure out a curve, 50 feet before you enter. You haven't figured out the whole thing yet. What's wrong with you? And so I take the approach that you can't possibly know everything about that turn, even if you see it, it's perfect sight distance, because you don't know certain surface characteristics. Perhaps you don't know where the slowest part is. There's so many things you don't know, and what I'm trying to eliminate for you are those gaps where people are just hoping, crossing their fingers, nothing gets in their way. My thing is, look, expect something's going to be in your way today. All right, when you're riding down the road with your buddies in the twisties for a day ride or just an after dinner ride, something is going to be in the road somewhere. There's going to be a deer. There's going to be gravel. I mean, wouldn't it be great if we knew we could ride somewhere where there'd be no gravel, in the curves? And by the way, that's the biggest confidence killer of all the things. When I just, my friends, me personally, talking to people, gravel's what knocks them out. And they see the gravel, they just short circuit, and maybe they make it through, maybe they don't. But we can definitely say that was kind of a touch and go moment on the bike.